The Carolina Panthers picked 8th overall in the NFL draft, and to many surprise, they decided not to help the record-setting and worst defense in NFL history, but to instead solidify the rise of their offense and potential franchise QB with a wide receiver. They selected Arizona wide receiver Tetairoa McMillan. Standing at 6'4", T-Mac has garnered a lot of praise and likeness adjacent to guys in his size and mold like Mike Evans, Drake London, and A.J. Green. Yet, the way he'll win in Dave Canales' offense resembles another poly superstar that just entered the league. Enter Puka Nacua. What up, y'all? It's the Real Ball Watcher guy, Binoculars, and I'm back with another video. And this one a little different, I ain't gonna lie. This is the first time I ever wrote a script for a video, so hopefully that helps keep the video shorter, much easier to watch. Y'all know me, I get the rambling. These videos be 20 minutes long at a time. But if y'all like longer form videos with a lot more film attached, I can go back to that too. So just let me know what you think in the comments. But today we're going to be discussing how I think that Tet McMillan fits into Dave Canales' offenses and a player that fits almost in the same way in their own offense in Puka Nacua, as we've seen before already. And why I think that could turn Tet McMillan into a superstar year one, where he'll step into the league and maybe be a top 15 to top 10 wide receiver in year one with Bryce Young. So if you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, share this video, turn on those post notifications so you never miss a video. I'm here every week. Now let's get into the video. Now, there are similarities on tape and at face value to the aforementioned legends and overrated names that we mentioned before. But if you dig a little deeper, you'll see that Puka and T-Mac share so many similarities that they could be the Usos of the NFL. You especially see it when the ball is in T-Mac's hands after the catch. As I've mentioned in my draft eval, T-Mac is a monster with the ball in his hands, forcing more missed tackles than any receiver not named Luther Burden in his senior year. While done in a different way, Puka is also one of the best yak threats in the league, finishing top 6 in his rookie and sophomore year in the NFL in yak yards with 632 and 530 yards respectively. While guys like Mike Evans and Drake London were outside the top 30, barely cracking over 250 yards at times. But it's just as important to know how they win in the routes, what routes they win with, and how their QBs love throwing those routes that they win on. Puka and T-Mac both destroy defenses with in and out breakers in similar but also distinct ways. Matt Harmon of Reception Perception does a great job calculating this with his success rate equation. Puka wins on outbreakers and digs at a very high rate, at 75% with dig routes and 80% on out routes. T-Mac is also just as high with 77.8% on out routes and 82.5% on dig routes in 2024. The offense around Puka stretches linebackers and safeties in the middle of the field with clearing routes to open up digs and crossers. Puka is then tasked to tempo his routes well enough to not only beat corners inside, but not to outrun throwing windows from his QB Matthew Stafford between dropping linebackers. T-Mac was not so lucky to have a QB who excelled at throwing over the middle of the field like Stafford, or the offense to move help defenders. Instead, he had to use very advanced route running to beat guys with tempo and leverage and footwork. On this play, the defense is running cover one, leaving T-Mac facing one-on-one press coverage with the safety helping if he goes deep. After a hop release, T-Mac sees the defender has taken outside leverage, so to further create separation, he will play into the corner's leverage, leaning into his chest and widening him to the sideline. Once he reaches the top of his route, T-Mac breaks in, only using 2 steps to flatten the dig route, creating a massive amount of separations as we see. Yet, the beauty of T-Mac and his 6'4 frame means even if he doesn't get separation, he's still open. If T-Mac has you on his back, you are not going to affect the catch, because the way he attacks the ball in air and ability to box out defenders is some of the best I've seen coming into the draft. Now let's flash back to Puka. PFF graded him as the best player in the NFL at running crossing routes, and it shows on film, creating explosive plays downfield, but also underneath, using his run after catch ability to gain big chunks of yards for his offense. He destroyed teams with this in the playoffs and the regular season. In his first 2 seasons, it became Matthew Stafford's favorite target in his offense, phasing out Cooper Kupp. Here, the Dolphins are playing cover one robber or hole, dropping a middle defender to help with underneath routes and a safety to help over top. Puka's primary defender takes an outside leverage, so he plays into that leverage by leaning into his defender's chest and stemming his route upwards towards the safety to sail like he's running a corner route. Just before a traditional corner route where he was about to break outside, he quickly snapbacks across the middle of the field, creating major separation on his crossing route. We've seen T-Mac do something similar like we discussed in the last play, but I haven't discussed his deceptive acceleration that will aid him on crossers in the NFL. Here you will see T-Mac running at about 80%, squaring up the DB who is also in off coverage. This throws off the timing of the DB, opening up his hips to react and squeeze the route because he believes he has much more time than he actually does. A lot of the NFL great receivers like Justin Jefferson and great route runners along those lines do this same exact thing. Right at about 12 yards, T-Mac sticks his foot in the ground and accelerates to beat the late reacting defender on a crosser. QB doesn't throw it, but you can see easily how this will translate to the NFL level with a guy like Bryce Young, who loves throwing across the middle of the field and deep crossers, as we've seen in the last half of last season post-benching. And once again, if all else fails, Bryce Young can rely on T-Mac's size to win in the jump ball over about anybody, just like he did in college time after time. Lastly, both players complete their arsenal by countering their in-breaking success with outbreakers that they are just as efficient at running to move the chains. Here, Puka is threatening Gilly deep by squaring him up just as T-Mac did on the previous play. To win this route, Puka has to give the impression that he can go deep or break inside to win on this route. Knowing defenses are hammered in the film room all week about this offense relying on in-breakers versus off coverage, Puka gives Gilly a false step inside to get him to open his hips, which allows Puka to quickly break the route off outside right at the toes of the defender for a 20-yard gain. Here, T-Mac is seeing the same exact look. He digs deep in his first 10 yards, squaring up the DB, giving him the false sense that he can go deep or break inside like he does often throughout his tape. But without a false step, he stems off the route by flattening it with only 2 steps to give his QB an open target for a first down. I think this is the most impressive part of his game, that he's able to chop down the amount of steps he uses to break off his routes. It gives him much better advantage against DBs. Now, am I saying that these are going to be the only routes that T-Mac runs? He's going to have a limited route tree? Not at all. He's a very, very expansive and also refined route runner, way beyond his years. He's almost like a vet out there. But these are the routes where he's going to be most efficient and is going to turn him into a superstar. Being able to create yak on explosive plays like crossers and digs over the middle of the field, which we all know Bryce Young's love throwing those. And Dave Canales said he's tailored his offense to the routes that Bryce Young is most confident and comfortable throwing. Now, I'm not telling you that T-Mac is going to be the best receiver in the league. I'm just telling you he's going to be top 10. Now, I'm no betting man, but if he has $20 or if you need to go find $20, the odds for T-Mac winning Rookie of the Year is about plus 950. Going to be maybe plus 1,000 soon. I would go put some money on that. I can easily see him touching around 1,200 yards, 1,100 yards this year, maybe 6 to 9 touchdowns, maybe 5 to 9. I think he's going to have an explosive rookie year based how the offense is going to be tailored around him and Bryce Young and their synergy on certain plays. And we didn't even get to talk about the way that he's able to work on scramble drills, something that we know Bryce Young turns into a superstar, and his superpower when he does it. So, hey, if you're a Panthers fan, and you're upset that we didn't take defense, or you're upset we didn't take this receiver, or you see Steve Smith's comments on T-Mac, I'll say ignore all of that. Go back to my original eval pre-draft, watch this video, and then go buy you a 4 jersey, because those things are going platinum in the streets. If you know, you know. You got to be from Charlotte to know. But yeah, man, that's all I got for this video. I'm not going to be too long-winded. I just wanted to cover how this guy will be very, very great in our offense, how he'll use certain routes to win in this offense, and how, yes, he is similar to Mike Evans. Yes, I can see some similarities to, not T. Higgins. What's the guy? AJ Green. Legendary player. That is not a slight to anybody who use that comp for people that think it is. I can see those things, but I think the way that he'll be used in our offense is much similar to a West Coast style of offense like the Rams have. Same way that they use Puka, and the reason that he was able to explode onto the scene. So, not to, keep repeating myself, but yeah, I mean, if you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. Let me know what y'all want to see next. I'm thinking of maybe doing Nick Scorton or Princey McMillan, or I might just do both of those videos put together so we're not, dragging out this whole draft process. I know y'all kind of getting all our draft grades out. We're consuming all the last couple of draft content. People are even starting to post about the next draft, which I will do, of course. I don't know how early it'll be, but we got a couple Panther things to knock down. So yeah, go buy you a T-Mac jersey. Like this video. Comment what you think. What is your yardage prediction? What is your touchdown prediction? Am I tripping for betting on him to win Rookie of the Year over Travis Hunter? Let me know all of that in the comments. Put up your binoculars. We done. I'll see y'all next week.